So we have a really amazing chat coming up with Kirk McConnell, and Jordan Flowers moderating. So Kirk was like in the room like during the whistleblower investigations when David Grush was coming out a couple years ago, and yeah, is Kirk around right now or? Oh, there we go. Yeah, so there. Yeah, I was looking for you behind the lectern. So all right, so we're gonna give it up to Jordan and Kirk. So. Yeah.
Thank you. Just one mic, right?
Yeah.
For now, okay. Thanks so much, everybody. Dylan, thank you for an amazing talk. The depth of thinking there is really critically important, and I know it's a lot, but it's really good to get these ideas out there and for them to sink in. So thank you again. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm sitting here with Kirk McConnell. I know Kirk has been introduced. Kirk, I'd like to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background, how you came to be involved in this, and some of the comments you've made previously about the potential existence of some of these programs I think we'd like to hear about. So I'm going to hand the mic over to you. We only have one mic for now, so I'm going to hand this over to you, but I think that's a good place to start.
Well, first, let me say that my memory's not very good, and I certainly need notes on various topics, so I hope you'll indulge me in that. I retired from Congress about 18 months ago. I spent my really entire adult life up there, 37 years as a staffer for various national security committees, mostly the Senate Armed Services Committee, but I also spent 13 years combined on the House Intelligence Committee and the Senate Intelligence Committee. I handled an awful lot of topics over that period of time. It sort of changed as priorities and technologies changed, but I was involved with intelligence matters for that entire 37-year period. When cyber became a thing, I took that over. I've always done information technology and some other advanced technologies. In addition, I looked at organization and management, management reforms and the like in the executive branch and the national security agencies. Jordan asked, what about UFOs? I mean, you're looking at someone who, until 2017, when the New York Times did their seminal piece on the old ATIP OSAP program, I was a committed reductionist materialist, I guess you would say. All things about psychic phenomenon, and certainly, something as strange as UFOs, I was pretty dismissive of and didn't pay any attention to. When I can assure you that things have changed now. I mean, I've been sort of grabbed by the scruff of the neck by this issue, and stage by stage by stage, I've gradually adjusted my thinking to like, damn, this is real, and it's really difficult to get your head around that, especially if you've been convinced, committedly convinced that it was baloney, before that. So the New York Times article came out. It had quite a bit of what I would call actionable information in it, and we very quickly learned about some of the people who were behind those revelations. It turns out that some of them I had known for a long time, Chris Mellon being a prime example. I'd known him even at that time, 20 plus years. So we started, a group of us on the Senate Armed Services Committee and a small group on the Senate Intelligence Committee at the staff level started pulling the thread on various strands that came out of the New York Times articles, and then connecting with Chris Mellon and Lou Elizondo and Hal Puthoff and Eric Davis and a lot of the other figures that you guys probably know by now. we started interviewing people and interviewing Navy pilots. And we started getting briefings and reading the vast literature that's out there on this topic. And slowly but surely, we became convinced that there was a there. And so, you know, that was that's the origin story, not just for me, but for other colleagues on the committee. And we, of course, went on to work with members and arrange briefings and memoranda for the senators that we work for. And we ended up writing and passing several pieces of legislation in both the annual National Defense Authorization Acts as well as the Intelligence Authorization Acts. Not all of that legislation has led to anything notable. If I had it to do over again, I would tell you now that I would do it very differently in hindsight, but that's maybe something for another time to discuss.
Sure. Thanks, Kirk. I've heard you in other environments talk about your confidence level that a crash retrieval and reverse engineering program exists. How would you describe the probability there? Like, how confident are you in that? You described a little bit about how you've learned information. I think when people are at the dinner table talking about this topic, they encounter the question of what evidence is there? What would your answer be in that scenario?
Yeah, I would say that I'm personally very confident. I mean, you know, it's hard to put a number on it, but you know, 95%. And this derives from multiple strands, I guess. One, as Dylan has reviewed, and as you guys know just from reading the news, there have been a number of individuals who have come forward who have claimed to have had firsthand direct involvement in compartmented, hidden crash retrieval and reverse engineering efforts, as well as intelligence programs designed to detect and track UFOs, UAP, these are people who they were either current or former government officials and or contractors. They had high-level security clearances. They seemed perfectly sane. They had no incentive for risking their careers to come and talk to us about this. They gave strong testimony. Some of these individuals have never become public. They only told their stories in private, in confidence, so that the senators who have heard these reports have not even been allowed to share it with their other colleagues in the Senate. So that was a very powerful impetus for us to come around to the view that this is real. There's a lot of other sources who have come forward that do not claim direct firsthand involvement or knowledge, but who have interviewed a lot of people inside the Defense Department and the intelligence agencies who did have that direct involvement. So we've heard numbers, you know, of people interviewed, multiple dozens. I mean, you've heard Dave Grush say this, and others besides Dave have told us this. Some of the people who you all may know publicly, I'm not going to name names because that's the point I'm trying to make here, is that they know more than they've let on publicly. And when Dylan talks about these people being afraid to disclose everything they know, even privately to Congress, it's because they're afraid for what's going to happen to them. There are so many ways to retaliate. I've seen it a lot in my career. Not for something as momentous as this, just for straying from orthodoxy. You'd be amazed how many times people's security clearances are threatened. It's a tremendous lever that the powers that be in these executive departments and agencies have over their employees. Well, the other thing that I would say is that my very long experience with the national security elements in the federal government is that they are very serious people. If they see something that that displays amazing characteristics, you can bet your ass they're going to research it and try to figure out what the hell it is. And especially, imagine this, back in World War II, there was this phenomenon known as Foo Fighters. You all may have heard about that. There's a band, the Foo Fighters, right? In World War II, when Allied air forces were roaming across Europe, they were followed and harassed and harried by these luminous orbs, just exactly the kind of things that are reported up to this day. They would track right along with the bombers and the fighters. They would circle around them. They had amazing flight characteristics and so on. We were convinced for a while that this was some amazing new Nazi technology. Likewise, these things were chasing the German aircraft, and the Germans were worried that we had some new amazing technology. These Foo Fighters showed up in the Pacific War as well, in our engagements with Japan. The United States, the Allies' intelligence services sent people over to Europe for the express purpose of trying to figure out what the hell these Foo Fighters were. This was serious, serious business. So you can't tell me that they would all just shrug and say, oh well, must be illusory. These things were seen over and over and over again. It may even go back farther than that. There was a reported UFO crash in Magenta, Italy in 1933. There's a fair amount written about this. And the famous CIA spy, James Angleton, with his father, was living in Magenta at the time, and quite possibly could have witnessed this event. The other strand is the interference that these UAP have executed with respect to our nuclear programs, both missile launches with either dummy warheads or real warheads. There's so many examples of this, them showing up at nuclear facilities, whether it's power plants or research facilities or testing facilities or what have you. There's a huge amount of reporting on that. Not to mention just all of the reports from citizens and government officials, police officers, firefighters, what have you, about witnessing crashes, landings, encounters, sightings, and the huge number of abductions that have been reported. So that's all of that is what gives me and others in the government confidence that this is real.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Mostly because that is not a hypothetical question. My father-in-law is in the audience, and we have had this discussion. So I think that's important, and I'll make sure that he corners you after with any follow-up questions.